Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to Ramadan and I. My name is Raiyaan, founder of registered charity Solace for Rivat Sisters in Difficulty, and this video is for days 16 and 17. Last night, as I was praying Taraweeh, I caught hold of an ayah to do with gratefulness, to do with gratitude. And it reminded me of a story that I was told by a dear sister. And I have shared this story with sisters in London before. And every time I think about it, it just brings tears to my eyes and makes me realize how incredibly generous and merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. And I'm going to share the story with you again, inshallah. So the sister who was sharing this with me was telling me how her brother-in-law, her husband's brother, how he came to Allah Azza wa Jal, how he came to Islam, how he started practicing, how he returned to Allah. And he was in a restaurant one day. So this is in a Muslim country. He's a born Muslim. And he was in a restaurant one day and he was sitting down eating and he heard a man start shouting in Arabic. And the man was really, really furious. He was angry. He was conversing with the owner of the restaurant and he was just angry about something that had happened. And he became so angry and so infuriated that he began to curse Allah. Okay, now this may seem a little bit unusual to you and I, perhaps English speakers. However, there are certain things that are said in Arabic that can actually constitute kufr, okay, that can actually take a person out of the fold of Islam. So in his state of anger, he began to say things that were against Allah and that really did constitute kufr. And so my friend's brother-in-law was observing this as he was eating his meal. You know, he was hearing this man utter very, very vile statements in a state of anger. And then he said, as he's recounting the story to my friend, he said, and then this man who had been cursing Allah took his seat at the table, and within minutes, the waiter brought his food and put it in front of him. And then he ate. And my friend's brother-in-law said, it was that moment that I knew I had to start practicing my deen. And as my friend is recounting this story to me, I said, well, what was it? I don't understand. And then she continued and she said, Subhanallah, here we had this man cursing Allah and uttering things that really are just disgusting and, constitute kufr. And then Allah fed him. And she said that her brother, who was just observing this whole incident, couldn't believe that Allah, out of his generosity and mercy, fed his servant after he had uttered such awful, horrible, disgusting words. Allah fed him. He said he then knew that he had a Lord that was generous and merciful, and he decided to start practicing from that moment onwards. And you know, my my dear brothers and sisters, every time I mention this story, I get quite emotional, because how many times have we done something that is displeasing to Allah, and then he feeds us, clothes us, protects us, allows us to sleep. Subhanallah. We have a Lord that is generous. We have a Lord that is merciful. And we've got about maybe 12 or 13 days left of Ramadan. Out of love for him and out of a heart that is grateful for him, let's really push ourselves, even if it's only out of gratitude. This story has always touched me. Every time I mention it, or when the time that my friend shared it with me, it's always kind of pushed me to do more for my Lord that is so generous and merciful for me. I pray that it pushes you too. Look forward to speaking with you again tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.